Today's topic, pretty straightforward, just another characteristic that we're going to add to the list. We've done the, domain range, x-intercept, y, symmetry, continuity. So now we're going to do this left end and right end stuff. You might at times see some new symbology with this stuff. Calculus-wise, it is right in the game of the calculus, just like a little bit like continuity. An IXL we're going to do today is out of the calculus part of this again. But graphically, it's a very simple thing. The end behavior, we want to figure out, as I go all the way to the left on the graph, what's happening to the y value. Okay. As I take x and go all the way to the left, what's happening to the y value? Where's it going? Okay. That's the left end behavior. The right end behavior is, hey, when I go all the way to the right, what is the y value doing? The key in all of this is x is going to go left, x is going to go right, but what is the y value doing? All right, that's what the end behavior is all about. Now, you are going to see every once in a while, I put it up on the blue notes, the left end stuff is really as x is going to go to negative infinity. Going to the right, we're going to take x and go to positive infinity. Over there I wrote the word limit on there, LIM. Really? That means, what's y? That's the big question mark. What's the limit? Is what's the y value as x goes to negative infinity? You'll see the same thing as x goes to positive infinity. Okay? We're going to go all the way to the left. We're going to go all the way to the right. And you want to know the y value. And we're going to start with the green sheet. So we've got it. Okay. So, let's start with y equals x. Here we go. You start on the curve somewhere, but you want to make sure you can get all the way to the left. So when I get all the way here, I'm going to the left, I hit an arrow, and since I'm talking y's, I'm really thinking top to bottom like I did with the range. Okay? The y values, the tops, the bottoms. So I actually go all the way to the left and hit an arrow on the bottom. So as I'm going to the left end, I want you to write y is approaching negative infinity. It's really horrible, right? Negative infinity. The y value is going to negative infinity, going down. As I go all the way to the right, the y value is getting up to an arrow on the top, which is positive infinity. So y is approaching positive infinity. I'm having you write down the y thing, and that little arrow is the approaching because the y value is the key. You are going to get confused with the domains and the range, and when we do tomorrow's stuff with increasing, decreasing, which letter are you looking for? So when you can look at your green sheet, hopefully that's going to help out. When we get to the x squared, as I go all the way to the left, this one keeps on climbing and hits an arrow that's going up, so the y value is going to positive infinity. So the left end, the y value is going to positive infinity. The y value. When I go all the way to the right end is also going to positive infinity. X cubed. When I go all the way to the left on the curve, I'm going end up going down, 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 down. So the left end is going to negative infinity. And the right end keeps going up, 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 up. So that's going to positive infinity. square root. When I go all the way to the left, I end up right there, which is at a y value of 0. So the left end is actually at y equals 0. The right end keeps on going up, 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 up. So that's approaching positive infinity. Left ends, right ends. That's kind of how we're going to mess with it. Last two. And as always, our 1 over x is probably going to give us some issues. And it will. Don't forget, you've got that x-axis wall and the y-axis wall. You got to get on the curve so that you can get to the left. You got to get on the curve so you can get to the right. So if I get on this curve and try and head to the left, I'm going there. And what's my y value getting closer and closer and closer to? Getting closer and closer to the x-axis, which is at a y value of 0. So, but it's never going to get there. But y is approaching 0. Never going to get there, but it's going to approach 0. That's where the left end is going towards 0. Well, the right end, if I get over here, the right end is also getting closer and closer and closer and closer to the x-axis, which is also at a y value approaching 0. So they're both going to approach 0. And then the last one, the absolute value. As I go all the way to the left, going to the moon. Y approaching positive infinity. I go that way, y is approaching positive infinity. Yeah, that works. It's pretty straightforward when we're going to look at it this way, graphically. So, I'm going to go through a couple of them here, and then I'm going to turn you loose on the IXL, and then we'll show you the book, which isn't too bad either way. They're going to show some dashed lines on these, but here's a graph. And I think down on the bottom, they may at times show you one answer or two answers to fill in. If it's going to positive infinity, that's the right end, correct? If it shows negative infinity, it's going to the left end. It's really hard to see on your small little Chromebooks whether that's negative infinity or positive infinity, so just be real careful. Negative infinity, left. Positive infinity, right. So when I go to this guy and I ride the curve, it's going to go all the way and not ever cross that blue line, which is at a y value of negative 4. So for that one, negative 4 is my answer. I shoot it down here. That looks like it's going to go to positive infinity, so I'm sliding this thing all the way to the right, and it's going to get to negative 8. And as far as I know, there's not going to be too much else in there that's crazy. At some point they are going to ask you probably for both. The key is to make sure, like on something like this, make sure you're using the chunk that gets you all the way to the right or the chunk that gets you all the way to the left. Now I do not think IXL is going to give you answers that are infinity, but I could be wrong. They may have changed it a little bit. If you do, they will. If they do let you, there will be a box most likely that has infinity underneath it. So here's one where they actually have you do both. And so sometimes they go one, sometimes they go the other. All right, I'm going to shut up, turn you loose. IXL G2. G2. When he finished with that, you could head into the book on page 30 and do the graphs in the book. There's just, what, 8 of them in the book?
What do you want to do by 50?
95 as always, unless it's stated elsewhere.